I can't believe it's actually working. Like, I honestly didn't think this was gonna work, so I'm really impressed that it's actually working. Yo, you ready? I'm so excited. Like, I'm like literally the only one here in the camper besides our dog, and I'm so giddy right now. I wish someone was here. Anyway, I think it's done. Good morning, y'all. My name is Bryce, and my husband and I live full-time in our fifth wheel for about 3 years now. If you haven't seen our first video, we talk about what my husband does for work. I'm also struggling with seasonal allergies. Picked the perfect time to do these videos. Today, I thought we would try to bake the hardest things in the camper. So the first video, we're gonna do meringues. So I made a chocolate cream pie yesterday. Pretty much your basic stovetop pudding, dry ingredients in a saucepan, put your wet ingredients in, stir it until it's thick consistency, pour it in your pie crust, and you're good to go. I couldn't find the original recipe that I used, so if this recipe doesn't work, I will not share. But if it does work, I'll make sure I share the recipe with y'all. I have not done meringues in the camper before. I have done meringues prior to moving into the camper, so I'm really intrigued to see how this works. A few things that I have done to our camper oven that has helped me as a baker. One is to use an oven thermometer, because our camper does not have, like, it won't ding when the temperature is ready. So make sure you have an oven thermometer. And I also learned, because of having the oven thermometer, I have to move it past the actual number. So if I need it at 350 degrees, I have to turn it past a little bit of the 350 degrees. I also have a pizza stone. So the way a camper oven works is you have the actual flame for the oven, and then a metal plate, and then you have the rack that you'll set your food on and bake your food on. Well, right above that metal plate, I have a pizza stone that I use that helps evenly distribute the heat, so that way nothing is burning food right on top, because camper ovens are so small that when you have a heat that close, it will burn. So we're gonna make a quick meringue. I got my egg whites, my sugar, and cream of tartar. I would recommend, I'm not going to, I probably should, but I'm not going to. I would recommend using a finer sugar. I have organic cane sugar. Because the actual sugar crystals are a little bit bigger, I would probably recommend blitzing it either in a blender or a food processor. I'm not going to, we're just gonna see what happens, because I personally don't feel like blitzing my sugar right now. I do travel with my KitchenAid. With the whisk attachment, I'm gonna put my egg whites, a little bit of cream of tartar, let it get all nice and fluffy, and then I'm going to gradually add my sugar. I do have my oven preheating to almost to broil. It will take quite a bit of time for this oven to heat up, and I still have my pie in the fridge because I want to keep it chilled as much as possible. Even though it's been chilling for almost 24 hours, I want to keep it as cold as possible. Let's make a meringue. We're gonna add our egg whites. I use the egg yolks in the pie. Yeah, not wasting, so that's always nice. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Yep, let's start blending. Now that we have some foam and sort of soft peaks coming up, we're gonna gradually add in our sugar. You wanna make sure you add it about a tablespoon at a time. You don't wanna add it too quickly, or else it's not going to dissolve really well. So you wanna make sure that all the sugar dissolves into your egg whites. So that's why you need to add it gradually. So we're just gonna do about a tablespoon at a time. It should take about 6 tablespoons. All right, the test for a good meringue. Oh, no, not yet. Just a little bit more. So you should be able to feel it in between. So if you get with your fingers and you kind of mix it around, see, I can still feel the sugar crystals. So I'm going to keep blending. Let's try it again. You want it to be able, if you could, would you look at it? Would you look at it? Now, if you can kind of see, there's still, sorry, the lighting's not telling you. I always pick the worst days. You can still see little sugar clumps. So I'm actually gonna whisk it maybe just a tad bit more, so that way the sugar crystals can dissolve. Like I said, I should have blended it, but I'm just lazy, let's be honest. So I'm gonna blend it a little bit more. In the past, I've used granulated sugar, so the, you know, basic white sugar. It usually won't take this long to make your meringue, but since I'm using the organic cane sugar, those crystals are a little bit bigger. I'm gonna blend it up just a little bit more. It reminds me of Grinch, how it's a little house. I don't know if you can kind of see it. So we're getting there. I think I might do a little bit more. Blend a little bit more. But I don't know if you can see it very well. It is very glossy. It's almost, trying to think of kind of, it has like a shine to it, and that's what you want. So I'm gonna do it just a little bit more. I'm actually gonna scrape the sides of the bowl. Should have done that like a minute or so ago. But I'm gonna scrape the sides of the bowl, and then I'm going to blend it up some more. Okay, I don't want to overmix it because it will start to deflate. So I think this is gonna be good for right now. They look much, let's see if we can kind of get a little, I'm gonna do the finger test. Oh, I'm actually quite pleased. So now I know some of y'all are gonna be like, well, there's a bunch of different meringues out there. This one is specifically for like chocolate meringue pie. The next meringue we're gonna try out is a Pavlova. If you've never heard of them before, it's pretty much meringue. It's a different type of meringue, and you bake it low and slow. So I'm really intrigued to see how that works in the camper. I have made them before prior to moving into the camper, and I absolutely love them, but I've been a little bit scared to try them in the camper. So I'm really intrigued to see how it works. Let's pull the pie out, get it ready to go. All right, so I have my chocolate pie. I know some of y'all are gonna be like, you didn't make your pie crust. Well, I just don't like making pie crust. I've done it before. I'll do it if I have to, but I just don't like making it. I'm just gonna be honest. There's just something super easy about buying store-bought pie crust. I know there's cracks and stuff majority of the time, but you know what? I just don't care. The only time I'll actually make pie crust, or if Chase wants pie crust, like homemade pie crust. But Chase doesn't care, I don't care, and that's all that matters. So your meringue is gonna act like an insulator for your pie. So you wanna make sure you get all the way from the filling to the crust, so that way your pie isn't melting, and kind of helps with it not getting all soupy. If you ever had a meringue pie, you know what I mean about the whole soupiness. So you want to try to keep all the air, so I don't want to mess with it too much, just enough to get it on the pie as much as possible. Let's get this going. Now, I think I might try, this might be a later video, I have made pies in the past with massive meringues. I'm just trying with a little dome. So I'm getting all the way, I'll show you here in a second, getting all the way to the edge, just so that way insulate your pie. Also, I am that person that tries to get everything off the whisk. Actually, usually if you just bang it up against the bowl, a lot of it will come out. So here you go. Chef snack. Let's get the rest of this on here. All right, here we go. Now I know some people like the peaks and stuff. I'll do a little bit of peaks. I'll show you how I do them. It's pretty straightforward. But yeah, you just want to like make sure it's all, you don't want to see any of your pie filling, but you want to see the crust. So it's kind of a, look at that. Ain't it party? Sorry y'all, my allergies are just absolutely killing me. Final little bit. Now to make the little peaks, you just pretty much tap in, pull up, down, up, just pull right up. Now this isn't gonna bake for very long. You just want it to be golden brown. Now the bad thing about camper ovens, at least mine, is it does not have a window. So I kind of am gonna be playing the guessing game. I'm gonna try a couple minutes and then open and see. Now the thing with camper ovens, if you do anything like this for baking, try to have a light, open it, look, and then close, because it does take a while for these ovens to heat up, and the last thing you want is air to come out of your camper. So, or out of your oven. So you can see, sorry, the lighting's horrible. You can see how I left the crust, but you can't see any of the pie. Now this is a pretty good sized meringue. I mean, it's not maybe a couple inches or so. So it's not, you know, massive by any means. I'm gonna check the oven. All right, we are at 500 degrees. I think I might turn it down just a hair. I always put anything that I bake, like a pie crust, or like a bun, anything, I will always put it on top of a pizza pan, just so that way it doesn't burn. It's another layer to kind of help. Let's put it in. Say a prayer. Amen. All right. I'm really intrigued to see what happens. Either this is gonna go really well or this is gonna be a huge flop. So now the thing too about meringues is usually when you do broil on an oven, it's the top will heat up. Now camper ovens, they only heat up from the bottom. So you're having to get the heat come up and to hit your pie. So it's a little bit different than some ovens. Now I know there's some home ovens that are like that as well. So just kind of be mindful that if you have an oven that only heats from the bottom, to maybe put something underneath your pie if you do a meringue, just so that way it doesn't heat up your actual pie. So let's actually try this meringue. It's actually pretty good. Very light and fluffy. I can't taste any of the sugar. It's actually pretty good. Not too shabby. I'm gonna set a timer for 2 minutes and then check, because it is very hot. Last thing I wanna do is burn it. Also, while we're waiting, if you have any ideas or anything that you want me to try in a camper oven, I may do a series of meals that I usually cook in here. I'm all about simple, no hassle, really good meals. And then if you want a kitchen tour, let me know. If there's anything super hard that you want me to try to bake in here, let me know. I'm always up for trying just about anything in here. Let's see. This is either gonna be really good or really bad. Are you ready for this? Let's see. Let's take a peek. What are we looking at? Oh my gosh, y'all. I think it's working. I don't know why I'm whispering, it's only me in here. But y'all, I think this is actually working. So it is starting to brown a little bit. I'm gonna give it maybe another minute or so, but I think we're in some serious business, y'all. Also, I would recommend getting a very long oven mitt. Whenever I bake something in the camper, I like to rotate it halfway. So make sure you have a long oven mitt. This one goes almost to my elbow. That way you don't burn yourself. I can't believe it's actually working. I honestly didn't think this was gonna work, so I'm really impressed that it's actually working. Y'all, you ready? I'm so excited. Like, I'm like literally the only one here in the camper besides our dog. And I'm so giddy right now. I wish someone was here. Anyway, I think it's done. I don't know why I'm so excited. Y'all. Oh, I can't believe it actually worked. You know how people do the like B-roll of the food? You know, they do the little takes. This is gonna be mine. Look at that. Would you look at it? You can see there's no, like I'm looking like more like right here between the meringue and the pie. I don't see any seeping, so I think we're good. You want your meringue to have, you don't want it to be burnt, but you do want nice little, you know, tops. But y'all, I really can't believe this worked. All right, are you ready for this? Ready. What now? Do y'all see that? What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, y'all. Look at this. Oh my gosh, look how good that looks. Look how clean. That's probably honestly the cleanest I've ever gotten it. And then look at this. I know it's a little bit of seep right here at the bottom. I probably did over whip it a little bit because it's not as airy. You can kind of see it's more closed holes. So I did over whip it a little bit, but that's because I also used organic cane sugar. If you use regular granulated white sugar, you won't have to over whip it as much as I did. Let's try this. I don't know why I'm whispering, there's no one here. All right, we're gonna try some. It looks so good, y'all. I don't know why I just sniffed it. That's pretty good. That's really good. I wish y'all could try this. This is really good. That's really good. It's really tempting not to eat the whole thing. I think we have a winner. Well, the lavender pavlova was a total bust. We're just gonna do a basic one. I couldn't find the recipe that I had used a couple years ago before moving into the camper. But for the most part, you just want to make sure your eggs are room temperature, your bowl is clean, your whisk is clean. We're going to use 4 egg whites that are just about at room temperature, and then just a little of salt, about a 1/4 teaspoon or so. About that much. There you go. And now we're going to whisk slowly, and then we're gonna go up for about 12 minutes. I should also mention that I have the oven preheating to 250 right now. So this is at a little over 2 minutes. This is kind of what it looks like. Ta-da! Now we are going to slowly add the sugar. I didn't get super fine sugar. I've used granulated sugar, just the basic white sugar before in the past with it. I've never had any problems with it. That's what I'm using today. So you can kind of still see, so that's good. But if you look, you can still see the sugar crystals. So I'm going to scrape the bowl because I got some like sugar crystal crusties. I don't know if that's a thing, but. And then we are going to add, so that was a cup of sugar and about a couple teaspoons of cornstarch mixed. And now we have that. And then now I'm going to add a teaspoon of vinegar and a teaspoon of vanilla. You need some sort of like acid for this to get the like marshmallowy effect on the inside and the crunch around. So we're going to mix this for a couple of minutes, about 2 to 3 minutes on high with this, and then should be good to go. All right, so we got about 3 minutes. If you can kind of see that. So it's glossy, it's not falling off, and you should be able to dump it over and nothing falls out. Slight, but I think they'll be fine. Now I like to use pizza pans when I bake because I feel like because of how camper ovens are, I can fit more on a pizza pan when I bake. So if I do cookies or anything like that, I can get more cookies on a pizza pan versus a small baking dish. Parchment paper. We're just gonna kind of scoop it on here. We're not gonna lay it all flat. We're just gonna kind of make a little mound. Oh, so down and then pull up. Down, pull up, pull up, down, pull up. Down, down. Oops. There we go, y'all. So I'm not gonna scrape the bowl because some of the sugar that's in the bowl is not dissolved all the way, and I don't want it to ruin the pavlova because it will kind of make it sink and stuff. There we go. All right, so this is what we're dealing with. It's about so the size of my hand, but you see how I held it down and then scooshed up, and then you have those little fine. So you want to have a little cavity in the middle of it because we are going to bake it at 250 for a little over an hour 15, and then we're going to let it cool for probably a couple of hours with the oven open. Now with pavlovas, since my oven doesn't have a window, we're kind of just going to be blind baking it. So I'm not sure what is gonna happen. We'll find out in about an hour, a little over an hour. And then we're gonna top it off with some whipped cream, just pretty much heavy whipping cream with powdered sugar whipped in it with some vanilla. And then we're gonna top with lemon curd and some fruit. I'll see you back in a couple hours. I'm about to open the oven, turn this off, and we are just gonna leave the oven cracked. Let's see if we can see. Well, it hasn't deflated or anything like that. It's kind of hard. I don't have an oven temp. So we are going to leave it cracked, one of these. And we're just gonna leave it like that, cracked. Let all the hot air out and we're gonna let it cool completely. Chase is videoing. All right, so it baked yesterday and let it cool. It cracked, caved in pretty good. So I'm assuming that my oven thermometer is probably broken and the oven got a little bit too hot. And so when it baked and then it cooled for that quick, it collapsed that much. So technically it's not supposed to collapse that much, but it's very hollow sounding. So all I did was I whipped up some heavy whipping cream and some powdered sugar. I didn't use a lot of powdered sugar because I didn't want it to be too sweet because this is already a bunch of sugar in it. So you can add vanilla to this if you want to, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to fill in this all with cream. That's good. Then you could leave it like this, but I made some lemon curd last week. I should probably taste to see if this is good. I haven't even tasted this yet. Yeah, it's good. Very tart. I'm just gonna spoon this on. You could put jam on here if you want to. I just think you don't want something too sweet because Pavlova is already pretty sweet. Looks so pretty. Then I have a bunch of fruit. Got some strawberries, bunch of raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. Technically I could make this really pretty, but I'm just gonna dump them all on there because honestly, I think the more fruit the better. It kind of helps cut all the sweetness because who doesn't like fresh fruit? There we go, just pile it on. You could do whatever fruit's in season. That would be really nice too. Then we're gonna top it with some mint. And it kind of like got depressing very quick. This is why I don't decorate cakes, because I'm not the best when it comes to making things look aesthetically pleasing, like picture worthy. Just all about as it tastes good. And there you go. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty, as you can see, I like totally. Look at that camera work. It's like when they put it in the little booth to make it all look fancy. Ta-da! All right, moment of truth. Let's cut it. All right. This is really the moment of truth. I should probably get a plate. Pulled out the fancy plate. Now you can, it's best when you make the Pavlova like this, like you add your fillings and stuff, you need to serve it right away. Or you can leave it. It just needs to be an airtight container, the Pavlova by itself. Or I left mine in the oven overnight and it's still fine. So that's some storing options. Y'all should see Chase's facial expressions right now. Moment of truth. All right, let's cut. All right, that sounds good. Okay. Need to get an actual. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Okay, so you can kind of see the marshmallow type texture of the Pavlova. And then there's you can hear, that's what you want. Let's taste test this. And I'd probably serve this with more fruit on the side, like with it. It's been a long time since I've had one of these. That's pretty good. You want to try some?
Sure. With strawberry. Oh, okay, so just eat this one.
I just eat that one.
Take off a little
I should have taken the greens off. That's my bad.
Superb.
Superb. And there you have it. That's gonna be it for this video. If you think of any other baking thing or cooking thing you want to see, or if you like these, drop a comment below. Let me know that you like them. You should see Chase right now going, well, see y'all later. Video not done. I forgot to tell y'all about my headbands and my awesome apron. They are made from a company called Two Medium Size Ladies. This has a wire in it, so if you have glasses, you know what I'm gonna say when like this stays on. It doesn't hurt my head and it just twists. But anyway, and the aprons are awesome. The guy's about to come back in, but I will save a link in the description. They are made in East Texas, so they're all handmade. So anyway, now the video is over with. See y'all later.